In this video, I'm going to be talking to Abbie Glew. Abbie is a member of our Evolution Mastermind group, and she was our hero of the month because not only did she set 18 actions in the month, complete 14 of those, but she's managed to speak to her customers and also do some work on her pricing. But before that, what she was able to do was get a better idea of profitability per job. And that's the main thing that I'm going to be talking to her about, and how you can check your numbers to ensure that all of your jobs are profitable. Let's get started. So today I am joined by Abbie. Abbie, if you could just tell us a bit about you and your practice, that'd be great.
Yeah, so I'm the director at the Render Collective, a small accounting firm, about 300k in turnover, three, soon to be four team members, serving clients in the creative and wellness industry primarily.
Excellent. And the reason we are talking today is because you was our superstar of the month. And during the month, not only did you set 18 actions, you completed 14 of them. And one or a couple of the big ones was refining all your pricing within your Go Proposal software, which allows you, I think your words were, to confidently price your services. But the biggest one, I think, was creating a system to ensure that you can track profitability per job. So can you just talk about, or can you just perhaps tell everybody that's watching about how or why you felt you needed to do that? What pain were you sort of experiencing and what made you need to do that?
Yes, I think when I first started, it was quite easy for me to know which jobs were profitable or not because it was me doing it. And I had a really good sense of whether I needed to change fees for a client. But as I've kind of moved away from doing the day-to-day work, it became more and more difficult for me to have oversight over which jobs were making money and which weren't. And I felt like perhaps sometimes my own biases, etc., towards clients or fear of wanting to replace clients was coming into it in terms of me going, oh, it wasn't that bad kind of thing. So one of the things which we've brought in is basically so that we can track each job in terms of like time billed to it so that we can see how that compares with the fee, my expectation in terms of how long a job should take, and whether we need to be repricing each individual client. And it takes away that kind of ambiguity from me because it's there in hard facts, which I think was something that I was kind of using as an excuse not to reprice before. And it also means that I can like make sure that I'm supporting the team in terms of capacity and knowing how long jobs are actually taking. So yeah.
So how is it? How did you feel before you? So you said about not having, I guess, clarity would be the word on the jobs. What other problems did that cause you within the practice? What did that cause you to kind of make you go and do the exercise?
Well, I didn't feel like I had control. And I know control is a sort of charged word. You'll never have full control, but like I didn't feel like I had good oversight of all of the clients as the sort of client numbers have expanded and I've moved away from doing it. So I guess I feel like I'm regaining some control of that process. And I knew I needed to be repricing, but because I didn't feel like I had the kind of facts to be able to have those conversations with clients, I put it off. So I didn't want to just be like, oh yeah, your work's taking longer, or because that's not really a thing that like they don't care if it's taking longer. They're paying for a service. So I needed like a benchmark to see, this type of job takes this long and this is our kind of norm. And actually this job is taken twice as long. And the reason is because of the client, for example, so that I can then go back to the client to have that conversation confidently. And I guess the overall impact is if you let the good clients from a profitability perspective sort of prop up the ones that aren't so good, then eventually you end up with a sort of chunk of your clients being not very good. And obviously, we're always going to have clients who will be gradually kind of molding, changing, or getting rid of. But I think I'd maybe let too many slip through the net. And now I'm actively sort of culling them / price increasing them.
So if I was to summarize that, so initially you felt out of control, you didn't have a good grasp on your numbers within the practice, so therefore then that created a fear of being able to go to customers confidently to put the pricing up. And since doing this exercise, not only do you feel better and more in control of where the practice is going, but you're able to confidently have those price increase conversations, knowing that there's fact and it's not just plucked up out of the sky.
Yeah.
Excellent. So you're going through the repricing process at the moment, I'm guessing.
Yeah, so rather than doing it all at once, for two reasons really. One, I don't have the capacity to sit and reprice everyone all at once. But two, like, obviously from a sort of commercial perspective, if I reprice everybody and lose a load, then I've got capacity and no one doing anything. So I'm sort of doing it gradually and learning from the process as I'm doing it. So like I have tweaked some pricing that I originally set based on conversations with somebody that I was doing the repricing process with, and it actually wasn't down, it was up. So I'm kind of seeing it as a, rather than a reprice everybody once and done kind of job, it's this sort of cyclical thing that we're going to be doing each time we do a bit of work for the client, which makes it more manageable and hopefully a better process because we'll be learning as we go.
Thank you. So for anybody watching, what would be your top 3 tips in order to have more control of their numbers and more visibility?
So this kind of goes against what Simon and lots of other town members think about time tracking, but I believe that time is my biggest cost, right? Team is my biggest cost, and unless I know where that time is being spent, it's very difficult for me to reprice specific clients without that data. I'm an accountant through and through. I like data, I like numbers, I like to be able to analyze things. So I've set up to use time tracking. It's not timesheets in the kind of traditional sense of timesheets. I just use Clockify. It's free. It takes literally like a second to select which job you're working on, and you literally hit start and then it's there. So I'd probably implement some sort of time tracking system. Delegating it. So I didn't build this process. I set out what I wanted it to be, and then I got my senior accountant to build a process that would suit the way that they work and not create an additional kind of time and admin burden on them. What would be my third top tip? Just get on with it, really. Just do it, probably, because I procrastinated about it for a long time, and I knew I think I wasn't doing it because everybody in the industry or like the groups that I go to was like, time tracking is not the right thing to do, blah, blah, blah. And I kind of bought into what they were saying, but actually I think I knew in my gut that that was what was going to be best for me. It might not work for everyone, but that was going to be best for me based on like my own sort of insecurities about speaking to clients about price increases and how I like to feel in terms of the control and oversight. And if I'd have just followed my gut and done it when I wanted to, I'd have been in a lot better place than I am now. So I think my overall advice is just get on with something if you know it to be right.
Excellent. Thank you. And thank you for sharing so openly, because I think it's brilliant for, I think a lot of people's perception is that everyone has different problems, and the reality is it's all within us. And I think sharing what you felt about yourself is much more important than the hows. And I completely agree that if something works for you, then you should do it that way. So thank you very much, and I appreciate. I mean, you've been a member of the Evolution Group, I think, for just over 2 years now. So it's been great to have you along, and Thank you very much. The Superstar of the Month was thoroughly deserved, and I can actually see it in the corner there, proudly displayed on your side. So thank you very much for joining us and sharing with everybody that's going to watch this.
Welcome.
Thanks very much.